Hey everyone, this is Blaze of Firewolf. This is my final roundup video of 2025, and my gosh, what a year it's been. What a year metal detecting. I metal detected 6 times. 6 times I find something interesting, and I'll just total the clad just so I won't bore you of everything in total of the clad. $5.77. I'm going to start off with like the last hunt, which is not very good, but holy cow. I'm going to title Roundup Part 129, 20K gold and a Barber dime. So yeah, that's how I'm going to start that. That's how I'm going to title the video. I say 20K because holy cow. I was surprised at what the numbers it read on the Garrett, but I'll save the best finds for last, as I usually do. But this is my last hunt of the day, which is Wednesday, a couple days ago. I think it was $1.41 in clad. Usual quarters, dimes, nickels, pennies, brass and copper scrap, a Lego piece off of just laying on the ground, junk ring. I tested the stone, but it's just a junker. Key, very corroded. This area I detected, I kind of went back to the same spot where I found that bucket list gold ring, and I missed a few clad nickels, a dime, and a couple. This is basically, I'm kind of pretty much done metal detecting prospect. This coming January, I'm going to go to do Franklin Park and maybe around that sidewalk area close to it. I'm going to be doing the sidewalks because it's not actually like concrete. It's just rock and dirt. So that could explain, this, coin I'm going to show later. But yeah, just a junk, key. 3 shotgun head stamps. Very common ones that I've shown you before. The UMC number 12, UMC Company number 12, Nitro Club, steel. The UMC Company number 12, I think Majestic. This one's got the steel back. This one I found before. I went back to an area I've detected before, close to where not far from where I found the 1903 Indian, and yep, got a number 16. Is that a 16? No, it's a 12. It's pretty bad shape, but I mean, I can check off camera. Yeah, it's a 12. It's just really bad shape. Number 12, U.S. Climax, dated between 1923 and 27. This one's an all brass UMC Company number 12 Magic, in slightly better shape, but still pretty crunched in the back. And then a bucket list, because I've never found a coin from South Korea. This is a 500 won from South Korea. At first, I wasn't sure what language that was. I was hesitant to know if it was Chinese or other country, Asian country. Well, it's Korean. 500 won, W-O-N, from 1997. Not incredibly valuable. It's only probably like a quarter or 50 cents in American currency. But 500 won, I think, I forgot if it's equivalent to 50 cents. Not very good on it. It's made out of nickel and copper and some other alloy, but yeah. So that's kind of the last day of the hunt, the 6th hunt. I'll go to this one here. This one I did the sidewalk near Prospect because it's all dry dirt and rock. Found this piece of copper wire into some clipping, some type of clip that holds the clamp down. probably $1 piece of brass in one orchard. And it wasn't attached to anything when I found it, so it's just a good piece of brass. This was under a tree. Some poor kid lost their Legos, bricks. More brass, copper scrap. Not much clad at all. I think I got about 79 cents. But in the center, at 4 inches down, I pulled out a first. A 1921S wheat penny in horrible condition, but it was like 4 inches down, so yeah, it's cruddy, but it's a wheat, you know. And I actually counted. I found 23 wheat pennies this whole year, so that's awesome. Now I'll go to this hunt right here, which isn't much. I think this hunt here was about 93 cents. Yeah, 93 cents. This I found in the sidewalk. It's actually a plate or a face plate to a watch. You know, a wristwatch. I'm going to keep it because I think it's pretty old. It's all brass. If it is the face to a plate of a watch, don't know where the rest of it is. But yeah, got the usual copper scrap. But I think I got the most expensive thing. There was this wire that I pulled out that was just sticking out of the dirt on the side of the earth. I pulled it out and I rolled it all up. Look at that. That's probably a Guinness World Record right there, finding the most copper in one day. It's super heavy. It's, I think, a pound and a half, 2 pounds right there. Probably like $2-3 worth of copper wire on that day. Lead bullets, the usual scrap right here, brass, copper, pot metal button, old key, not special. Some poor person lost a set of keys. Right near this sidewalk on the strip, basically where people park their vehicles, pulled out a 1952 S Jefferson. Been a while since I found an old Jefferson, but there you have it. And 2 inches down, I pulled out a 1945 wheat. So I'm good at finding wheats, just not big silver quarters or half dollars. That's the only thing that's missing. I pulled out this ring. It's just a cheap junk ring, though I think what I will try to do is use Barkeeper's Friend on it and see if there's any writing in there. Like, because I know back in the 1800s or so, they painted fake rings, forged rings, by painting them gold and silver. And there's some salesman people back then. Some people call them gypsies, whatever. They con people, believing that these rings are 18K when they're really just plated, you know, copper. But yeah. If it's a fake ring, I think it's probably my oldest fake ring I've ever found. Because, yeah. There's no writing on it, unfortunately, but I'll just let you look at it. Yeah, it is an actual ring and not a compression ring, I'll tell you that. All right, this hunt right here, which I think is number 2. Well, before I can end this, I pulled out this bottle. Now, I thought for sure it was just going to be modern, but hallelujah, it's not. It's an old Gallo Italian wine bottle, bottled and sealed by Gallo in California. This bottle actually is from the early to mid 1970s, and it still screws on. I cleaned it up as good as I can, but yeah, the seal's still in there. But yeah, this bottle's over 50 years old, so yeah, if if I find a glass bottle and it's older than 19, and it's like 1982 or older, I'm keeping it because it has good significance to it. And now to this hunt right here, the fourth hunt. Well, this actually is my second hunt of the 6 times I went. Stainless steel ring, a biker ring, it rang up in the gold numbers, like 3940 on the Garrett, but it is just a steel junk ring. But yeah, this one I never found before until I looked it up. This is a Peters number 12 referee, dated between 1902 and 1911, so old. And now I finally got all of the British money, except for the 5 pences and the £2 coins. I finally got a 20 pence. Made out of nickel, copper. Actually, it rang up kind of like a ring pull on the Garrett. It wasn't a solid number at all. It was like 42, 61, 56, less than 2 inches down. But yeah, look at that. 20 pence, 1982. So, yeah. Love finding the foreign money, and I love finding the British money. Got this key that was 6.5 inches down. It's old. I could tell by the shape and the stamping and the ornateness. It's probably from like the 50s or older, but not much to it. I got a 2025. Not sure what it's to, but it is a 2025. 22 casing. Old square nail, quite corroded, but it is an old nail. The usual brass and copper scrap. On this day was quite an astounding thing. I dug a signal that sounded like a clad dime mixed with a quarter. It was 7 inches down, or 6.5. And I dug it. I did ding it on right there, but I dug it, and holy cow, look at that. After some homework, a good friend of mine, Brian Pfeiffer, looked it up. This is an antique 1930s National Distillery bottle from around probably early 30s, during the time of Prohibition. And surprisingly enough, the twisty top still works. But yeah. Yeah, it's old. I'm amazed I didn't dig it. I didn't break it, except for that ding on it. This bottle is surprisingly in pretty good shape. National Distillery bottle from the 1930s. I picked it up because it was unusual. I've never ever seen these sold in stores. That's why I picked it up. If you want to look at the design, it's got a man's head. It's got the federal law. I can't read it. Forbids sale for reuse of this bottle. It's got signatures at the bottom. It's got the writing and cool stuff on it. But yeah, a bottle from the 30s. Yeah, I'm not a bottle digger, but if I find bottles that look unusual and they turn out to be something different and old, I'm keeping them. And the bucket list on that day as well. This rang up really good. Just like that, it rang up 86, 87, 7 inches down. Close proximity to that bottle, actually. Close to that bottle. Yeah. But close to that, look what I got. The wire was picking it up on the Garrett, but holy cow. It's actually an antique power line top. Back in the olden days, these were glass and copper wire. And This is actually old leather. I'm amazed I didn't break it. It does have kind of cracks on the inside, as you can tell, but it was so caked and filled with dirt. I did everything I can to clean out the dirt without breaking it. And yeah, this is a collector's piece right here. If you're curious on what it says right here, W. Brookfield, I think it's West Brookfield, New York, patented February 12th, 1884. Now, I don't think, well, it could be from 1884, but more than likely as old as Prospect Park. So I'm going to say like 1900 or so. But yeah, collectors will pay some good money for these. I mean, I don't sell anything, but yeah, that's something I will add to my collection of relics. So that's a keeper. That's definitely a keeper. So yeah, that's it. That's it for the third hunt, that fourth hunt. Now I'm going to save the last hunts, the best for last, as I always do. So how I started this day, December 1st, I went to do an orchard. I didn't do very well because I feared of digging up nothing but cans and rubbish. I did dig cans, but I also dug twisty tops and that are still attached to the glass parts because it's a dump area. I didn't dig up much clad at all, like 40 cents. I think this day I dug about 94. Yeah, 94. So, yeah. But, yeah, just, oh yeah, I don't want to forget my rivet. Yeah, I found a rivet on that day. Nothing special, just an old rivet. But yeah, got a few shotgun head stamps. Got another rivet. Good at finding those. This is a very old 38. Probably like a W Winchester repeating arms. Yeah, Winchester repeating arms. Now, I thought this was nothing, but it's actually part off of, later I found this. Now, come on, someone has to know what that is. I'll let you guess. Do you know what it is? It's an old clip-on purse, or at least what's part of an old antique purse or coin purse. Well, probably a purse, but no doubt that is part off of an old purse. It's pretty awesome. I was going to scrap it, but then I'd start to realize it could be part off of a purse. And holy cow, it is. So, yeah. I'll go through the bullets first. This is another one of those. I think it's a Peters number 12 Primal. Yeah. I found one of these before. Not super old. I found a Magic. UMC Company number 12 Magic. This one's got a crease right there, but still intact. This, I think, is off of some old chest, like a trunk or something, or a decorative piece for off some old furniture. It's brass, so I found one of these before that was broken into a few pieces, but this is my first one where it's actually like still intact, not broken. So yeah. Now this has a lot of history to it right here. I wrote it down and actually did some research on it because of the writing on it, because it said patented on the, it's crumbled into pieces, but this part it says patented, P-A-T.D. And on this side it says, if it's going to focus, patented March 27th, 94. which is $18.94. And then it says Fishburne right there. It's not very good. You might see it. And February 4th, 96. Can you guess what it is? Because I wrote, no, I won't let you guess. I wrote it down. It's a antique Fishburne. It's an antique Washburn. It's actually Washburn. It's an antique Washburn Bulldog grip. It's an old-fashioned clip from like around 1890s. Maybe one of these days I'll actually show you, online what the Bulldog clip looks like. But basically, it's this that is attached to a cylindrical piece to another clip. But yeah, the patented on this is dated between 1894, 1896. So that's very, very old. At least older than Prospect Park. And this one right here is another PC company, I think number 12. Yeah, 12 gauge prize. Dated between circa 1890 and 1898. So, and I'll tell you, whoever lost this probably lost this dime. Now, I dug this dime, this silver dime, right around, it rang up 37, and then it went to like 84, 85. I was afraid it was going to be just a piece of foil that's falling apart, but to my surprise, it was on edge. And it's a first-year made Barber dime. Look at that. 1892. New Orleans Mint. I actually looked up this type of coin, and the O's are the rare ones. At least they're equivalent to the San Francisco mints on the wheat pennies, except they're probably a lot more valuable given their silver. This coin here in perfect condition, circulated and all that stuff, goes for about $200. It's not really worth that. I'd say it's worth, because of its condition, probably $40. It's already pretty bad shape when I found it, because it's got a couple dings in it. It's kind of wore, but it's not. It doesn't have, I didn't scratch it this time, so I didn't scratch it while I dug it, so, but yeah, 1892 New Orleans Barber dime. I started with a Barber for 2025, and I ended with a Barber for 2025. First year made. Had it been 1 year earlier, it would have been a seeded, last year seeded. So what I did is, after that kind of day, because that's how I started the day, and then I found all this stuff after. Now this, I found right at the top of the hill. It was by a tree stump. And in that tree stump, this was just laying on the ground. I'm like, I don't know if it's modern, because it's a pop top, not a screw cap. Like, those two are screw caps. This one's not. And then when we looked it up, it's an antique, well, not antique, but still an old bottle. It's a Mickey's Brewing alcohol bottle. This particular bottle is right around 1962 or just after, shortly after. It's because they didn't really have, what do you call it? They didn't have twisty tops until like the 70s or later. Also, they changed their logo design later on. But yeah, this bottle is like right around 1965, I'd say, at a guess. But yeah, another old glass bottle from the 60s, so that's cool. That's awesome, finding something like that. But, yeah. Had it been later, the design of the Mickey logo would be a lot different. But, yeah. Now, that was an awesome start, December 1st. Now, my 5th hunt was probably the best one of them all. I went to Metal Detecta's side area. I dug up some cans from like the 80s, Budweiser's, 7-Up from like the probably mid-late 80s. And then I dug all this scrap brass tube, copper, brass, $1.30 in clad, 2 rivets. This one's kind of a snap-on rivet. I found these actually in the sidewalk that kind of goes directly around this side hill and then going around to the other side, close to where not far from where I found this. And yeah, old key, not special, just a key. And yeah. And then seven years ago, I found my first ever Boy Scouts, 1950s Boy Scouts neckerchief slide. And now, just 2 inches down on the surface, in this back wooded spot area, where it's full of junk, sure, but you never know. And sure enough, look at that. I got the wolf design. Pack. I got the pack. And I'm surprised at what good condition it is. So, yeah. It still bends, though I'm not going to bend it too much, given it's brass. But that's a first. This is my first Boy Scout neckerchief slide that I found in about 7 years. If you watched all 129 videos, you'll know one of my earliest videos, I found one of these. So, yeah. Old brass part to a corset. This part's iron. This is one of the first ones that has words on it, or letters and stuff. WB with a star on it. Nothing on the back, but still pretty cool find. And get this, 4 wheat pennies. Interestingly enough, I dug a 1973 Memorial, and in the same hole was a 1957 D wheat penny. So, yeah, that's awesome. 2 inches down, just starting at this hillside footpath, well, sidewalk. Look at that, 1919 S wheat penny. That's my second 1919 wheat in a while. I think my first 1919 was about, 2 years ago, just over 2 years ago. But yeah. 2 of these wheats I found on the sidewalk edge, close to where I found this old rivet that still has a little bit of leather in it. Now these pennies are really in bad shape, but I did use the vise and pliers just to make them a little more presentable, and, 1941S and a 1945 plain. These both were about 5 inches down. I think they were on edge, which is why they didn't read so good, but yeah. On the surface, just finishing up that sidewalk going down, look at that. Silver 925 ring. You can probably see it right there. Yeah, 925. But that's not the end. Remember that Chrome Hearts bracelet that I found? I told you it rang up like a spill of clad quarter. Well, holy cow, this ring rang up the highest ring. This ring rang up so high, I was like, oh my gosh, what is it? What is it? And then I pulled it out, and I was like, I was afraid it was going to be plated. I really was. But then I did an acid test on it. I brought out the stone. I used each 14K, 18K, 22K. It's less than 18K. Well, it's less than 22K and more and greater than 18. And I believe it to be 20K. No magnetism to it at all. So yeah, there's no magnetism to it. It rang up like a quarter. Like, holy cow, that's incredible. But yes, this rang up like a clad quarter. After a bit of some digging, we found out that this ring here is probably European from other country, or independently made by a, short independent jeweler person who makes gold rings. And this is actually from like the 1950s. So yeah, I tested it to make sure all the way. It is real gold. It looks funny, but it looks really scratched up. It's in pretty poor shape. It's heavy, though. It's super heavy. It's actually a ladies' wedding band, probably. But, yeah, it's heavy. Maybe someone can help read what it says on the inside. I was able to make VI or something, Vesla, or Tesla or something right there. The 20, I think, is the carat, 20K. There's a stamp right there. I think it's 2 letters, like an H or something. There's an A-1. But no doubt this ring's like from the 1950s, and it's not painted. But I'd say that's actually one of the few times where I dug a really good signal and it turned out to be a really good find. Like, dang. But yeah, that and the Barber just sealed the whole day, whole year. I mean, I started good in January and I ended good this year. So hallelujah. Hope you guys like this video. It's very long, but there's a reason why. I mean, holy cow. When are you ever going to find a 20 karat gold ring? Almost never. I mean, I've never seen a metal detectorist dig one, so mostly it's like 14 or 10. Never, hardly ever 18 or 20, but yeah. Or Barber, so yeah. Hope you guys enjoy this video. Please be sure to like, comment, subscribe, turn on that notification bell, and share all together. This is Blaze of Firewolf, and I will catch you next time. Goodbye.